Today we got a Fiat 500. It's a 2009 model with roughly 30,000 miles on the clock, and it's fitted with the 1.2 petrol engine. So this car has had an MOT, and unfortunately it's failed because the rear suspension spring has broken. It might look okay, but down the end here you can see there a bit of a rough finish to that coil. That should actually come right round and finish round here somewhere. So there's probably about a third of a coil missing. So we'll take it up in the air and see if we can get it out. So as you can see, this is quite heavily corroded underneath this car. I do wonder whether it's spent most of its life near a seaside or in a river by the looks of it. Now, to remove this spring, you could do it one of two ways really. You could get some clamps on here, compress the spring, pull it out, down, or you can take this bolt out if you don't have any clamps. So I'll attempt to do it this way. I have already tried this bolt and it is loose. That was a concern, that it may be seized and snap off, in which case I'd use the clamps. But surprisingly, that's fairly loose. I've got a gearbox jack here, which I'm going to use just to support this. Probably don't need it, but if you're doing it on the floor, you can use a trolley jack or axle stand or something. I'm going to go and get my gun actually to speed that up a little bit. Right, now this bolt is out, which is a 19mm head size by the way, that holds the shock absorber to the axle. I'm hoping if I let this down, the axle will pivot down enough to be able to get the spring out. I might have to put a bar in here and pull it down, but let's see what happens. Probably not a lot. Yeah, it's only come down a little bit. It's fairly loose, so I'll get a pry bar in there. And out it comes. I think you can see there it's quite jagged and broken. I'll grab a new spring and we can compare them. Right, I'll take this off. This is just the rubber mount which goes on the top. Muddy. So spring's in the same position. I think you can see there, well, this core finishes round here somewhere, so there's that much missing. So before I put the new one on, some springs, they've got a smaller winding at the top or the bottom, and it's quite obvious which way up they go. I don't really think it matters which way up this goes, but you often find some writing or digits. I always fit it so that's up the right way. So I'll put this mount back on the top. That's it. That's ready to go on the car. Sometimes you'll find a lot of rubbish in there. You'll find a little stop where the end of the spring should sit against, which this one has got a little lump down there. Not much, just a bit of a divot. But I need to get the top in first. and then try and line that up. Pretty sure that's around about the right kind of area. Maybe twist it around a touch more. That's it, that should do. Right, let's get this jack back under here. Give that a little tap. I think that's started. Just double check the tightness. Yeah, happy with that. Take the jack out. A relatively straightforward spring to replace that one. So all that's left to do really is pop the wheel back on, do that up tight on the floor, and give it a test around the road and make sure it doesn't rattle or any noises. You might get a little bit of a clonk because it's seating in position when you first drive it out, but I always like to bring it back in and just have a quick glance underneath and make sure everything's sitting as it should be. Price wise, this was an aftermarket spring which was roughly £45. A genuine spring you'd probably be looking more than double that price. But that was made by Sachs, that spring, which is a good brand for suspension components. But yeah, like I say, as long as you go to a factor with your registration number, they'll be able to look up the relevant parts for you and probably give you a choice of budget or big name brands. Thanks for watching. If you find our videos helpful, please hit like and subscribe to help us out. Nice one.